Welcome back to another episode, or series of episodes. I don't know why I keep saying that. It's just such a habit of Katawa Shoujo. We are just speed running through our Shizune's route right now, as I will be leaving the state for a long time, a couple months, and will not be able to record, as I've said in previous episodes. So I'm going to try to finish Shizune's route. Hopefully this series of episodes, maybe. I'm going to try and do a really long recording session right now, though I might not have the time. I still have to pack and things like that. So yeah, yesterday we began Act 3, had our first love scene with Shizune, where we were tied up and dominated by our deaf girlfriend in her family home. So that was cool. Anyway, let's get started. The days since then have passed so quickly that the time seemed to slip through my fingers like water. Every time I've tried to talk with Shizune, she has been out running errands with Misha. I feel as though she's avoiding me. I'm not surprised. Of course it bothers me, but I think that the way she's acting seems pretty natural. Then again, it's not like I've been through this before. There's no way. We've never been through this before. Not in any other lifetimes. Whenever I can't find Shizune, I end up running into Misha, and when I do ask her to help me with my signing. Okay, yeah. However, she always ends up squirming out of it. We're leaving after today, so I'm determined not to let her escape this time. Once we head back to school, we're probably going to have to start grinding through more student council affairs in preparation for school restarting, and I want to brush up on my signing as soon as possible, or as much as possible by then, even if it's a day's worth. Come on, it's pretty much just having a couple sign language conversations. You do that all the time. Actually, you're doing it right now. Really, Hichan? That's funny. Misha temporarily stops her unconscious signing in order to wave her hands in front of her face in denial, but then quickly resumes gesturing everything that both of us are saying to no one in particular. Hichan, you're so persistent. Suddenly being interested in sign language again? Could it be that Hichan wants to make a career out of it? That's not fair. That was my idea first. You should be careful, Hichan. Times change too quickly. By the time I decided I wanted to be a sign language interpreter, they had cell phones that people could type out whole paragraphs on. Amazing. Not very good for me, though. As if she knows that another deferral isn't going to cut it this time, Misha changes her tune pretty quickly to a more apologetic one. I'm sorry, Hichan. I'm just so tired. Especially lately, being with Shichan is... what? Even though being with Shichan is fun, she has way more energy than me. Teaching on top of that would be too tiring. I don't have that much stamina, sorry. She doesn't seem very tired, shouting the statement with her usual cheer and vigor. I know that it's wrong of me to keep persisting on her like this, though. Actually, Shitan and I are planning on going shopping today. It's our last chance to pick up some souvenirs. Souvenirs, huh? I almost forgot that I was on vacation. I understand what you're saying. Teaching doesn't seem so easy. Hideki asked me to teach him how to sign, and I was unbelievably lost the whole time. Well, I wonder how it'll work for you when you become a sign language teacher. You can't get too tired easily doing that. Yeah, right. I hope not. Hichan, now I'm kind of worried. But, souvenirs. So, some other time, Hichan. Do you want us to get you something too? Just because I understand doesn't mean I don't want her to teach me. I suppose I can't press her any further now, though even I'm bothered by how selfish it would seem to do so I give up. No, don't get me anything. I'm serious. Don't surprise me with a funny t-shirt or something, okay? I don't like the sound of that. Slipping on her shoes, she yells goodbye to the otherwise empty house and opens the door to leave, letting a cool breath of fresh air into the hallway. A tuft of dark hair peeking from the door frame tells me Shizune is waiting for her outside. Good morning. Misha translates for me beyond the doorway, and Shizune turns around to give me a small wave. Even though it's different from her usual offhand greetings in the smallest ways, there is an unmistakable hesitation there. It leaves me with a vaguely empty and distant feeling. Hichan, you're up early. Am I interpreting a conversation? Interrupting. I was trying to get Misha to teach me how to talk to you, but I guess I was being impatient, and it can wait. You two are planning on going shopping today anyway. Having Misha there, I forget to sign my words as I say them. Unfortunately, since Shizune moved to fill the doorway, Misha is behind her. This brief misalignment in our position means that I'm saying is totally lost on her. I don't understand you at all. There are things I want to say that I can't put in the way she would understand, and there are entire conversations that she can have that would go right over my head. I want to tell her now that it won't be that way for much longer. Instead, I just say never mind and tell them to have a good time, then wave off. Seems like everyone is out for the day, and I sit down on the biggest, most comfortable-looking chair in the living room with a book. Not a sign language book, but one of the novels I checked out of the library of my first week. That was so long ago. I should really start chipping at the pile of books I borrowed, or at least return them. 16 pages in, Jigoro walks into the room, a stack of papers in one hand and his sword twirling idly like a baton in the other, casually shaking water from a recent shower from his hair. Upon being seen doing something so ungentlemanly, he freezes like a deer in the headlights and slowly moves to a smoldering but powerful but baseless fury as he sits down on the couch a few feet away. This is only the third time I've met him, and I'm already starting to feel nauseous on reaction. I guess in a way this could be considered kind of charisma. I haven't even said anything, he already seems less than pleased. It's likely a bad idea to provoke him, and just talking to him may count as provoking him. However, I can't help but thinking of the alternative situations I could play out. Let's say I don't open my mouth at all and walk away, maybe to read in my room or outside. That would definitely go down as an unforgivable insult. He would probably tell me to hold it and destroy me. Either way, not too polite on my part. What are you reading? The draft from my autobiography. It is a story of a man who wakes up to find an uninvited guest in his living room, sitting in his chair and reading a shallow literary dreck. I've barely started reading the book. I don't even have an opinion on it yet. I can already see how this conversation is going to play out, so I might as well try to steer it in a different direction. Where's Hideki? You even ask questions rudely. Disgraceful. That aside, why would you even ask me such a stupid question? How would I know? Am I my son's keeper? Well, you are his dad, and it seems like he lives here, so... But I guess I can't say that, tempting as it is. I give up. I already tried to make small talk with him and failed. It looks like trying to talk to a brick wall that already hates you. That also hates you. That is my cue to leave and sift through my wallet to see if I have enough money to go to a movie. As I'm about to stand, I have second thoughts. I'm too tired to... What? I'm too tired to go through my trying to smooth over my problematic situation by trying to continuously walk away from them. It's hypocritical of me to get upset at Misha for trying to defer things when I even run from my own girlfriend. When Jigoro attempts to stop me, I'm almost glad, even though I no longer have any intention to leave. Wait. He says it with plenty of authority, but nothing else, as if a particularly commanding afterthought. Only a powerful or very arrogant person can tell someone to hold in such a manner. I'm sort of impressed. You are in the student council with Shizune, aren't you? What is your job there? I don't think there are specific roles other than president. Shizune is always trying to round people up to help out here and there. Usually we might get like one person to pitch in, but otherwise the three of us do whatever needs to be done. It's crossed my mind a couple times around when I first met her that Shizune's disquietingly analytical stare might be because of her deafness, but it turns out it's just a trait shared by everyone else in her family. And that's okay with you? Why wouldn't it be? You, Shizune, that pink-haired girl? Is that really your entire student council? With a student council that small, that wouldn't even bother to hold elections. I am going to take a guess that you say you didn't join the student council. Shizune drafted you into it. You said you do not know exactly what your title is. Sorry about that. I had to do some stuff today. So here we are in the middle of this gaming session. Whatever. It took 1 second for you. It took about 6 hours for me. So, sadly, I probably won't get very far, nearly half as far as I wanted to, so that's kind of sad, but it is what it is. I'm a busy boy. With the student council that small, they wouldn't even bother to hold elections. I'm gonna take a guess and say that you didn't join the student council. Shizune drafted you into it, and you said you don't even know exactly what your title is. That makes sense. Suppose if you weren't elected, you couldn't be expected to know. After all, if you aren't elected, you really aren't anything. No one is going to respect a student council like that. An unelected body of 3 people trying to scrounge up the equivalent of temp workers must be a sorry school if 3 kids having a tea party can handle every issue. How small it is have to do with anything? If the student council gets things done, isn't that enough? It's not just a game either. Maybe you should actually come to the school one day. If you get there on the right days, you might even see what Shizune is able to accomplish. Do you think that I have so much free time that I can afford to waltz over to your boondocks and watch my daughter's feats of self-aggrandizement? There's so many words I've never heard before in this game. I've never been more disgusted in my life. What you're saying is that you might as well not have a student council, but the fact remains there is one, and Shizune got elected to it. And for her, isn't a meaningless position. In fact, she works very hard for it. You sound like someone who voted for her. No, I wasn't there for that. Ha, you didn't even vote for her. Well, besides, why don't you ask Hideki about this? Shizune has wanted to be a high school student council president since middle school. She would have read him all her practice speeches, wasting his time. For what reason? This whole time he hasn't even looked up from the thumbing through his manuscript. It's getting increasingly frustrating. Because it isn't a game. We don't run the school, but it's not like we're just playing at it, not taking it seriously. I wonder if it is so wrong to be a purist. I wonder if it is so wrong to not be a purist. I've been to your school, really. The students there. I can already think of a million things you might say, and I'm preparing for my heart to sink on hearing any of them. It's funny, they are probably things I've thought of before. They don't have any cleaning duty. That's not what I expected at all. He's also wrong. They do. I should know. I get to skip out on it since I'm in the student council. The concept of being wrong confuses Jigoro. I should take this opportunity to go on the attack. It's really odd that I'm thinking like this way about a simple conversation. Sounds like the last time you were there was some time ago. If you can leisurely write some memoirs, you could talk to Shizune now and then. Don't you think that she has stuff that she is proud of? That's how young people are. We have things to be proud of. If you're writing an autobiography, you should get that. Such an opportunity, and I blew it. I don't know how I was expecting him to react. Maybe introspectively, but Jigoro only grows angrier by the second. Yet as he does, he also seems calmer, in a way. More sure of himself and in control. Who do you think you are to assume my life is so easy? You haven't even read my biography. Yet you're able to tell me how I should handle my affairs, including dealing with my own daughter. You can never understand. If I were to get up from this couch, walk over to you right now, and punch you in the forehead with brass knuckles and a condensed edition of my life story on them, leaving my biography imprinted on your face, you would not understand. For 12 years, Shizune didn't even talk to me, even though I hired multiple tutors and interpreters of all sorts for her to try to get some to become normal. It isn't as simple as you think. If she does not want to bother with me, then fine. I assume that is normal. When was the last time you talked to your parents? I'm sorry, what? Does he know she's deaf and she can't... I don't know what's happening. It has been a while, and I feel ashamed. More so that he caught me than how easily I could have dropped my parents a phone call or sent them an email, or even a letter, and haven't. The knowledge only makes me feel more ashamed. I thought so. If I wanted to see my parents, I couldn't. This is different. You aren't that far from her. This is one train ride away. That is enough. No means no. You're very persistent. If only it was about something that mattered. I can't see that you may have learned from my daughters aside from the how to backtalk people. Is that it? The answer is yes. I wasn't this persistent or argumentative before meeting Shizune and Misha. After all, prior to meeting them, I just experienced a small death. It's a mystery as to how I refused to join the student council in the first place. Possibly it was from trying to get away from their nagging so much that I was able to get my energy back. It's a cute idea. I think about why I'm still here. Arguing with Jigoro is pointless. Yet I think I almost looked forward to it. And he is right. I cannot understand him. Even if I did, he wouldn't care. I'm a louse that crawls on a whale. Wholly insignificant. He has a confidence that I don't have. Shizune does, and it could be the reason why I'm here now, in an almost shouting match with her father. Is because some of that bravery is rubbed off onto me. However, I don't have anything to keep it going. Still, I don't hate him. I don't know what I can do. A few months ago, I think I would have punched him and let the consequences play out as they may. But now, I can't risk it. If he were to hit me back, he'd likely kill me. So, in the end, the only thing I can do is look at Jigoro in silence, knowing that I have no reply, and hate him, and feel completely at a loss. Oddly, he takes it in defiance. Fine then. Have fun with that. Picking up his sword and using it to pull himself to his feet, he turns and casually saunters out of the room. I want to throw my book after him, but I'm happy to finally be alone, if I'm not in the mood to read any longer. Crazy.